What is up? All right, so I just recorded a video and showed you how to build this out, right, with NSLayoutConstraint for Programmatic Auto Layout. And I also showed you basically how to use UICollectionView methods, right? So that's about a 30-minute video. You can go and watch that, and then you can watch this, or you can just watch this, and I'll still kind of show you how to use Programmatic Auto Layout with UILabel and UIStackView, okay? So you'll obviously not do exactly the same code as me, but you can pretty much follow along and do it in an empty project, and it should work pretty well, right? Like you're just gonna have to think of things a little bit harder because you're gonna have to decide to constrain it to something else instead of a collection view or something. And if that doesn't make sense and you want to learn Programmatic Auto Layout, just keep watching. I promise you that you'll be able to figure it out, okay? I don't promise, but like it's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so what we're gonna do is add in the labels that are shown right there, right? Now you can do this without a stack view, but I'm gonna show you how we can reduce the amount of code we write by using a stack view once we do it the first way, okay? So let's go ahead and in setup UI, let's create a couple labels. Let's say let label, we'll say let title is equal to UI label. And then we'll just say title, I was gonna try to say title and label at the same time. Title.translates auto resizing mask and constraints is false. So we can use auto layout. And then we'll just say title.text is equal to learn collection views, okay? Now, I've made a course on collection views. If you're watching this, if you're watching it like within the week I uploaded it, it's likely that my course isn't going to be down there because I haven't finished it yet. But if you're watching this in March sometime, you'll probably see it like a week or so into March. You'll see the course down there. Either way, just wanted to let you make sure you're aware of that. All right, so next thing we'll do is we will say, that's good for now. Next thing we'll do is we'll constrain this one just kind of below our collection like you have in our app since we haven't done that yet. So what we'll do is we'll say title.topAnchor, and we'll just constrain this to the bottom of our collection view. So if you're not following along with the project and you didn't watch the last video, for example, you wouldn't constrain it to the collection. You just say like view.topAnchor or something, right? But I'm going to constrain it to the collection or collection view. I'm going to constrain it to its bottom anchor. So if you're not following along with the project, if you are just, like I've said, just constrain it to the view.topAnchor or the view.safeAreaLayoutGuide.topAnchor. Either way, I would just suggest watching the first video and then coming back here and you'll learn more about auto layout. So it's a win-win either way. All right, so we'll just say constant and we'll put something like, I don't know, we can put like 10, I don't know, is active is equal to true. And then we can say, we're gonna wanna put it on the left and right, kind of like how we did it with the collection, right? Because we want it to expand to the left. Now, maybe this title doesn't go all the way to the right, but it does. It's just that the text doesn't go all the way there. Okay, so it's easiest just to constrain it to the right. So what we'll do is we'll copy our collection constraints right here, these two on line 64 and 65 of my code, copy that. And then what we'll do is we'll paste that. And if you're not following along with the project, just go ahead and pause it and type that in. Basically, we're just going to constrain the left side and the right side to our view, okay? Oh, I'm bouncing with my feet. I'm just like, but yeah, basically what we'll do is that, and then we don't need to set a hide anchor on a label. So what we'll do is we'll just compile our application, but first we have to make sure we add it to the subview or it's going to crash. So we'll say view.add subview and we'll say label, right? Or title. So as long as this view.add subview is before that we're trying to constrain things, it won't crash. But if you're trying to activate constraints to a view that's not on the screen yet, it will crash, okay? So if we added this subview after we try to constrain them to the screen, it would crash. Like just go ahead and try like putting this right here and you'll see that it crashes when you try to do that. Okay, so it looks good except for we kind of want it to be over a bit. So let's go ahead and look at our collection. You'll see that we inset it about 12 pixels and then there is a gap in between each cell because yeah, either way, there's a gap. So what we have to do is we have to put a constant on this leading anchor by saying constant and then saying, let's see, 8. was it? No, 12. So we'll say 12 right there. And for the trailing, we'll just say constant -12, because when it comes to auto layout constraints, if you're constraining to the bottom or the right of the view, you have to pull it in. So you have to use negatives. But if you're if you're constraining to the top or something above it or something to the left of it, you can use positive values to push it in. Okay, so that looks great. It lines up with it. Let's go ahead and let's give it some font properties. Let's say that title.font is equal to UIFont.systemFont of size, and then we'll choose that initializer, and we'll just say like 28 and weight of bold. And then if we recompile that, it's gonna look pretty good, okay? Now while that's compiling, we wanna kind of move to StackViews, you can already tell, because we had to kind of look at our content inset on our collection, and that was kind of annoying. Now, the thing is, if we add a StackView, if we use a StackView on our collection and then put the label in as well, basically you wouldn't be able to see the collection right there, right? Because it would then be constrained over here and the collection wouldn't actually start there. Because in all reality, we've constrained the left of our collection to the left of the subview completely. It's just that with our content inset, it's pushing it in about 12 pixels. So it's really actually constrained to the left, okay? So we won't use a UI collection view with that, but what we can do is we can use it for our next label. So let's constrain our next label on the screen, and then let's switch it to a stack view. I'm just looking at my watch because I got a like from Mark Moikins. I think that's how you say his name. He has an iOS channel as well, so check me out on Twitter. He's on there, Mark Moikins. You probably already follow him. I don't know, he's got like 30k subs or something, 27, I don't know. So anyway, what we'll do is we will copy this entire set of code, right? So right off the bat, you can see this is kind of getting messy and really big, okay? So just keep that in mind, and that's why we're going to use a stack view. And we're just going to say description, and then what we'll do is copy that and obviously change it for each one of these. And then we want to put the top anchor to the title.bottom anchor, okay? And then let's just put a lot of text in here. Let's just say in my latest course, well, I'll just say in my courses on Udemy, or I'll just say in my courses in the description of my YouTube videos, you can learn concepts like UI collection view, and I have a UI table view course up right now, and UI table view in depth. Okay, so courses like this, but in depth, like the collection view course I'm building right now, I show you how to build out a Pinterest style layout, which is actually really sick. But anyway, I won't plug the course too much in this. Obviously I'm plugging it, but I'm not going to make that the center of this video, okay? Okay, so, and I do have coupon codes. Like you might already know, Udemy is like always on sales. So I'm not going to be like, oh, sale, but like I do have coupon codes in the description that I post that make the courses the lowest price they can go. Like I would make them like $5, but you can only go down to $9.99, which is really freaking annoying. Cause like I honestly would do $5 a course on Udemy if they allowed that. So the courses are $9.99 in the description below. Okay, so that should be good. Let's go ahead and compile this and just see what it looks like. So I think everything's good here. We're gonna have to do one thing to the description label, and that's set the number of lines to 0 so that we can actually get multiple lines. Because right now a label by default only has one line, okay? So we can say description dot, see, it's kind of messed up, dot number of lines is equal to 2. Go ahead and try that, and you're gonna see we have 2, right? But it's still not enough. And you can obviously kind of just like guess and be like, okay, 4, 5, and then get it right eventually, right? But that's a problem when it comes to dynamic applications that are gonna have text loaded into them from like a server or something. So what we need to do is just set it to 0, and it will basically just give it the number of lines it needs, right? I'm not sure why that's the way it is, but it is, okay? So if you recompile it now with number of lines set to 0, you're gonna have enough number of lines, okay? Now, I don't think it should cut it off. If it does, it'll be just because our font size is so big. Let's go ahead and see. All right, so yeah, it looks great, but it doesn't look great. Let's reduce the font size to about, let's say 20, or let's say 18, and let's set the weight to regular, and then let's just recompile our application, and it should be where we need it to be, okay? Okay, I didn't change anything. I was just getting rid of space, white space. All right, so that looks really good, except for we kind of have all this freaking code now, right? Let's go ahead and learn how we can utilize StackViews to our advantage to actually fix up our code a bit so that it's not so much code, okay? And then after I record this video, this app's gonna be completely done, but I think what I'm gonna do is put up another video on some other some other app. Like, it's not gonna be connected to this video at all, but I'll show you how we can create functions to basically clean up our auto layout so that instead of writing 3 or 4, we can just say collection.addConstraints and then it adds a bunch, okay? Now, if you're watching this way down the road, like a month from now or something, just go to my channel and search or go to the playlist auto layout constraints, and I'll show you like it's in there somewhere. You should be able to find it if you really want to learn it, okay? So what we'll do is add a stack view. So what we want to do is go right here to line 73. It's going to be a different line for you most likely, but around line 73, and we'll say let stack is equal to UIStackView, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll use the initializer that basically allows us to add arranged subviews. So what we'll do is we'll put in title and description in here automatically, okay? Now, obviously we have them declared down here, so we'll have to move some things around, but just hold up. What we're first gonna do is get rid of these view.add subviews because clearly we've already added it to the stack view. We no longer need to add it to the subview. Now, what we do need to do is add the stack to the subview. So we'll do that in a second. Let's just go ahead and get this stack and let's put it below our items just because we're using them after they're declared, okay? So we have to do that. I just wanted to start at the top because that would make more sense initially, okay? And then now you can see why we're moving it down. Stay hydrated. All right. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to essentially constrain our stack view, okay? Because if we compiled this, it's obviously not gonna work. It's gonna crash because we're trying to constrain these and they're not in the sub view yet. And then even when they are, even if we added the stack view, it just wouldn't make sense. Like, it just wouldn't add up. Why are they in the stack why are we constraining it here if they're in the stack? So what we'll do is we'll cut out the title constraints and we'll put them below the stack and we'll just set them to stack, okay? So we're really just switching them. And then what we'll do is we can get rid of the description ones entirely, and then we can kind of pull this up and then we can recompile our application. Well, not yet because we need to add it. So what we'll do is we'll say stack.translates auto resizing masking constraints is false. And then we'll just say view.add subview and we'll put stack in there, okay? And then now when we recompile our application, it should be on the screen. The height might not work, but there are gonna be a couple problems with our stack, specifically the axis it's on, because by default it's horizontal or vertical. Wait, yeah, horizontal, okay? See how it's horizontal? So what we need to do is we need to modify our stack view by saying stack dot, and then we'll say axis, and it says the axis along which the arranged subviews are laid out is equal to dot vertical, because by default it's horizontal, and that should be good, except for now the distribution might be a little bit weird because you'll see that by default it had both of those set to about half the width, right? They're filling it up equally, and that's what it's going to do now. Okay, I guess not. I thought it would, but either way, you can modify attributes like stack dot, and then you can say like there's a lot of properties in here, distribution, and that's the one that we would have changed to fill proportionally or something like that. Let's go ahead and try fill equally and just see what it looks like. It should make them equally, okay? Now, the only reason I'm showing you this is because I just wanted to let you know that these things are there, right? So that you can kind of come up with your own creative things of how to use stack views. Okay, so you can see how it does that, right? Now they both have the same amount of height. You'll see that this is the same height. So that almost looks kind of good. I don't know. I don't know. I'll just do dot fill and then let's say proportionately, a layout where the stack view size resizes its arranged subviews that they fill available space along the stack view's axis. Views are resized proportionally based on their intrinsic content size along the stack. So that's probably what I don't know if that's the default value of a stack view distribution, but that basically is going to give you the same effect, or at least from the description, that's what you would expect, right? So let's go ahead and look at that. And you'll see it's pretty much the same, right? You can also add in something like spacing. So we'll say stack.spacing is equal to 10, right? You'll notice that we could use a little bit of spacing in there to make it look a bit better. Let's go ahead and look at that and see what it looks like. I think it's spacing. Yeah, okay. So that should work. Now, while it's compiling, you can clearly see that adding a stack view, maybe like it doesn't really reduce the code like a ton, But what it does do is it does make it a lot clearer, right? Like it just makes more sense. And then now you can just add the stack view and constrain it wherever you want. And it's got those two in it and it makes it a little bit better. So I think maybe like 6 might be a better number for spacing. And yeah, that's it for this video. And now that I've been recording this, I just want to make a video on UIStackView as well. So I'm going to make 2 more videos. It's going to be one on StackView, not for this app, like we're done with this app, but it's going to be on StackViews and it's going to be on the functions, right? I want to make a video that will show you how to create functions that we can call to basically set up our constraints. So instead of like saying stack.top.leading.trailing, all you'd have to do, and then it would also include the stack.translates auto-resizing masks into constraints. We just say like stack.constrain to, and then we put like we put like view.top anchor, view.left anchor, stuff like that. So it's going to be super easy. I learned this approach / concept from Brian over at Build That App, just to give him credit for it, because that is where I got it. I learned most of my things from him. So feel free to check him out. But yeah, that's it for this video. And I hope you all learned something. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe and check out my courses. All right, I'll see you all in the next video.